This is an open letter to the Sane Society. Um, it was in the news that a guy of South Asian descent, heritage, whatever, somewhere in California, had said that had said in an interview that yes, we should, you know, form, these color-coded people. People are told to wear a specific color-coded T-shirt in which so we can easily distinguish the gentlemen's from the riffraffs. I mean, here's the thing: the problem with unregulated capitalism that it will lead to inevitably it will lead to caste system. Unregulated capitalism inevitably would lead to a caste system. Have you noticed even you have started stating facts such as, okay, because because the very poor are because the very poor are because the very poor have to be somehow identified with a specific color T-shirt at the society level, social level. In California, I guess what he meant, or Los Angeles, or wherever. This was a thought process of somebody of India, South Asian descent, of Indian, Sri Lankan, Pakistani descent, that they still think in terms of caste system, and it becomes obviously very well matched caste system based on income. Caste system based on income, it becomes a match in heaven, uh, which is capitalism. And that's why they identify, so that's why you find a lot of people from subcontinent of India rising high in these kind of unregulated capitalism, because you know because they understand the concept of caste system, because they understand the concept of how the caste system works. It's not so bad, especially after the Cultural Revolution in China. That caste system was the first thing that was broken, and they, you know, they abolished the caste system in a way. The one thing the communist China did right was, any kind of extended period of monarchy uh, creates its own caste system. It just goes without saying. And the caste system is not a good start for even a capitalist system. It, it, in the capitalist system, you want to, reward merit. In the caste system, they want to reward heritage. So they're not a good. At the beginning, capitalism is not a good match for caste system. But at the end of capitalism, when it becomes totally unregulated, you know, in a way, with such a difference in income, socioeconomic level, then you create a caste system. You may have broken the chains of black, slavehood in North America, but you have created a caste system, and in the income levels are, vastly unhinged. So automatically you have created caste system. even your institutions, the ones who reward uh, inclusion as a reward familial association. Basically, they say this: the children of our alma mater are welcome to come back to the university. We allow them in, no questions asked, more or less. So that's how a very average student, if you want to call it that, average students of very rich people who have been to in these old institutions, Oxford and Cambridge and Harvard and Yale and all of these, most of these are recirculated people from children of people who have been here, and probably father and son belong to the same clubs. That's the caste system that's creating caste system. And at the end of capitalism, caste system naturally begins to form for many years. It's apparently this caste system is inevitable. It's the real outcome of capitalism. You go back to caste system. It, so my point is this, that when such a bad idea as caste system are circulating around as a acceptable option, remember this caste system also has an untouchable caste, and it has a the Brahmin caste that's everybody else to bend over and take it up the ass from them apparently. So every these caste systems, it is what it is. It's a bad idea, but imagine what level your capitalism has reached, that a guy from very familiar with the caste system understands the troubles that the very rich have to go through because they don't want to touch people of the lower caste in San Francisco. So let's put the lower caste in the same color so everybody can recognize them. That's the whole idea of the Brahmins wearing orange all the time in India. And they want to distinguish themselves all the time, screaming in your ear that I am from the Brahmin caste. Do you understand me, son, boy? So people from that caste system are finding solution for your capitalist nightmare of natural formation of caste between different 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 in different income levels. You have formed castes. And yeah, and please don't tell me that no, everybody can become a computer programmer. No, everybody can't. Are you fucking kidding me? you know do you see Mike Tyson's, or the descendants of Mike Tyson, or the ancestor of Mike Tyson? Do you see any of them sitting behind a computer and programming something? Because he's a monster. He is what he is, and that's he's a monster in one aspect of life. He's not a monster. He's never going to be a monster in computer programming. Are you fucking kidding me? Mike Tyson, the boxer, and Mike Tyson, the software engineer. Just take a course, maybe a couple of years of programming. You get it, Mike. And this is just torture. Torture. People who are good at certain things that actually it's not income producing in your society. Test of physical endurance is no longer a money making scheme in your society. Test of physical endurance, because more and more robots are taken over. So when the robot machine is taking over that aspect of physical endurance, then that's the end of the guy who really had a lot of physical endurance. That's the end of his prospects. In his ace in the hole was physical endurance, and you no longer need it. So does he have to go extinct because you no longer need his talent? That's a bad idea because you don't know what future holds. You don't know if one day you're going to need that physical talent. And all the black American athletes, black skin American athletes are you know a testament to that. That yes, we have won so many gold medals. Uncle Sam's managers have won so many medals because of this physical talent, and were able to brag about the physical talent. Well, a lot of it takes 100 first class 100-meter fast runners to make one Olympic runner. So what happens to other 99 fast runners, Olympic level fast runners, who didn't make it to Olympic and didn't get the Nike ad? Where does that physical talent go to? Fast food restaurant? Maybe. Can be a programmer? No. So, but what is her physical talents earns her about $10-15 an hour, which is barely survivable in the city that she has to live in. It's not survivable. Basically, she has to maybe sleep in her car until she can put a down payment on a rental apartment. I've seen so many. I mean, you got large numbers of people sleeping in their car in California, literally their car, and usually they go get a big van, and because the prices of overnight stay are so high that you know forget about the riffraffs. The working humans have to sleep in their car because that's all the space they can afford to live in that expensive city. Doesn't that sound to you like a caste system? And if they start putting up these metal shanty towns that you can't stand, that has to be cleared up. You can do that, but on short-term basis, let's clear it up, put them into some kind of housing, assisted housing, try to put them some. I'm sorry, this is what I'm saying, that you gotta be careful who you're going to bed with, who you're being associated with. A very caste system believer from India is be- understands you. Let's put it this way. Understands what issues this ultra hot capitalism has brought. That half the country can't find a place to put their head down that's not on wheels, and the other half are got large yachts. This is not even good for capitalism. This we are going into caste system, and there are there are two options from now on. You're either going towards caste system based on income. Based on income, you go into caste system, or there's a revolution and they chop a couple of heads off, and then you have communism. Because That which is another bad idea. So either way, caste system or communism are bad ideas. But this income inequality, vast difference in income inequality, creates caste systems naturally. And if you don't want to, I don't see pink skins being like Indians and being okay with caste system. I don't think these guys would be okay with that. It's a hard sell. Selling caste system to the pink skins at this level, at least, it's a hard sell. And if you don't want to, uh, you don't want to go the way of Marie Antoinette, you gotta, you know, go through a peaceful revolution in which most of the wealth of the society goes towards building itself, investing in itself, in education, in housing, in health. Uh, Here's the thing, folks, with regards to the British, be very careful. You don't want to be the pit bull of a British master. The British have always had very bad ideas for everybody else. You don't want to be a pit bull to a British master. You don't want, Uncle Sam's managers. This is for them. You shouldn't want to become a pit bull of the British or the Israelis in this case. And you see, when the cards are on the table, uh, you see the British are the last ones stuck to Israel because it's their colony, it's their baby. Bad idea. Promising land that you don't own to somebody else and selling is land that you don't own to somebody else. It's just, it's mind blowing that the British have done this and are proud of it and are sticking to the end. Recently, Uncle Sam's manager said that, okay, we're just not going to send this last shipment out because we want to leave one of their cities standing. You have demolished all other cities. We want to see one city standing. And the British have said, no, 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 no problem. We will provide the ammunition. Don't worry about it, Israel. Go destroy that last city as well. Uh, the, the British never have good ideas. If you found yourself in a boat with the British, excuse yourself, get up and leave the boat, even if you have to swim back to shore. British Kashmir is another British creation, the bloody Kashmir. Afghanistan is another British creation, the bloody Afghanistan. The British never have good ideas. The British, it seems, if there are more blood spilled, the British enjoy it more. So they go out of their way to find solutions that they know is going to be problematic in the future. They have. Here's the thing: if you really want to know what the British think, the British, the British think if as long as other people have issues with each other, the British can be left alone to do their thing, which is mostly in finance and money and wealth accumulation. If other people have issues together, that would be better for the British because then nobody is paying attention to the British who have kept their own corner of the world quiet and producing all the weapons that are being used in other parts of the world. So our neighborhood is quiet and peaceful, and civilized, but then we produce these arms and we sell it to other parts of the world so they can fight each other, and meanwhile we're getting wealthy. Folks, the British never have good ideas. Good ideas in terms of humanity. British never have good ideas. The fact that we are all speaking English would show you that British were willing to kill in order to make their language dominant over the planet. They were willing to kill them. To the locals, you either learn English and trade with us, or we're going to kill you. Which one do you want? That was the British idea. So the British never have good ideas. Recently, you look at the Steele dossier. That was the Steele was apparently Remington Steele. He was apparently a British agent, probably fictitious because they have a sense of humor. So, Mr. Remington British Steele had let it be known that there is some information, some videos available for, some loot Trump act in Moscow or whatever, or other information harmful to Trump. It's obvious the British don't like Trump. That's the main, the main thing. The British don't like Trump because, British want to be the pit bull owner who owns a pit bull. For heaven's sakes, it was the British issue with the Germans that pulled in Uncle Sam's managers alongside the British. They had the issue with the Germans. Then during the Cold War, it was the British who had a historical issue with the Russians. Don't you find it strange that North America always finds themselves in bed with the British? How come? Are they the best? They're still a fucking monarchy. They got a brown boy now, serving the queen. They found a brown boy who who didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, and a prep school Indian boy has become, the prime minister of the queen. That should tell you what's going on. Rishi Sunak is the brown version of Boris Johnson. Well fed, well taken care of, never known a bad day, gigolos, belonging probably to the same fraternity in college. Are you fucking kidding me? This is not a caste system? Of course it is a caste system. I mean, and that's the problem. And the caste system in the Middle East. Oh, for heaven's sakes, this is the ultimate caste system. Is one in which you create, a gated community. That's what South Africa was. Literally, you say that black people cannot be in this area of towns after dark. Or in case of the Palestinians, sort of a Palestinian cannot be, the Palestinians that we don't want cannot be within this city limits, or this area. And you don't want 90% of them. So we take 10% of these grounds, so we have at least some translators for whatever reason. The point is this. You're still at caste system. Your capitalism has brought you freedom during the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, but eventually this capitalism has led to a caste system because of income disparities. real bad income disparities. So I don't know. I don't think you want to go to the way of revolution. You have to somehow go back, and the first thing you should do is stop following the British. The British always have, they think the bloodiest ideas is the best ideas. This is who they are. Bad idea.